Don't wait to be perfect. That's a myth. Wait too long, and life will pass you by while you're still polishing the plan. Let me ask you something. How many dreams have died because someone was waiting to get it just right? How many ideas were buried, not because they were bad, but because someone feared they wouldn't be perfect? Let me tell you what I've learned. Perfection is the enemy of progress. It looks noble, it sounds admirable, but it's often nothing more than a clever disguise for fear, doubt, and procrastination. See, perfection says, I'll start when it's all figured out. But progress says, I'll figure it out as I go. And guess what? The man who starts messy ends up miles ahead of the man who never starts at all. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a clear decision. You don't need the perfect moment. You need to move. Because when you start, you learn. When you act, you adjust. And when you commit, you grow. Your life doesn't change when you dream bigger. It changes when you move consistently. So today, I'm going to challenge your thinking. I'm going to shake loose the perfectionism that's been holding you back and replace it with something better. Progress, discipline, and momentum. Because the goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to be better than you were yesterday. Stick with me. This message might just unlock the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Let's begin. Progress is the proof that you're moving. Let me tell you something straight. Motion matters. And if you're not moving, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're not going anywhere worth going. Now, I've talked to thousands of people who say, Jim, I've got goals. Jim, I've got dreams. But when I ask them, where's the progress? They look at the floor, not at me. Because here's the truth. Progress is the proof, not the plan, not the passion, not the potential. Progress. Even if it's slow, even if it's small, even if nobody else sees it. You know when you're moving, you see success doesn't respond to wishful thinking. It responds to measurable effort, done consistently over time. You want to lose weight? Don't tell me about your new diet. Tell me about what you had for breakfast. You want to build a business? Don't show me your logo. Show me your daily action list. You want a better life? Then show me the steps you're taking to get there. Because progress, not perfection, is what turns desire into destiny. Now listen, I get it. We all want to go fast. We want the overnight results. We want the applause before the discipline. But life doesn't work that way. Success is built in inches, not miles. In small disciplines. In daily decisions. In tiny victories that add up over time. Let me give you a simple example. If you read 10 pages of a good book every day, just 10 pages, that's over 3,600 pages a year. That's 12 to 15 books that can change your thinking, change your habits. Tiny step, tremendous shift. Progress isn't always exciting. Sometimes it's slow. Done is better than perfect. You know what keeps more people stuck than failure ever will? Perfection. That voice in your head that says, it's not ready yet. That feeling that whispers, you're not good enough yet. That trap that convinces you to wait, tweak, stall, or start over. One more time, one more round, until guess what? You never finish. Now let me give you the truth. Plain and simple. Done is better than perfect. Write that on your wall. Stick it to your mirror. Put it in your planner. Tattoo it to your mind if you have to. Because that principle can change your life. See, perfection is a liar. It tells you that your best effort isn't good enough unless it's flawless. It convinces you that unless it looks amazing, sounds amazing, and feels amazing, you shouldn't release it. You shouldn't launch. You shouldn't press publish. You shouldn't speak up. And that is how dreams die. Now, I'm not talking about being sloppy. No, I'm a big believer in excellence. Do it well. Do it right. Take pride in your work. But excellence is not the same thing as perfection. Excellence is effort. Perfection is avoidance. Perfection is what we hide behind when we're afraid. Afraid to be seen. Afraid to be judged. Afraid to be wrong. But let me ask you something. What's more valuable? An imperfect book that gets read and changes lives? Or a perfect book that never leaves your laptop? What matters more? A business that launches and learns as it goes? Or an idea that sits on the shelf, waiting to be polished until the market moves on? You see, the world rewards people who ship, people who show up, people who show up, people who show up, people who say, it's not perfect, but it's real, it's useful, and it's done. That's the mindset you need. Done builds momentum. Done creates feedback. Done gives you something to improve. Because you can't improve what doesn't exist. You can't refine what you haven't finished. And you can't win if you don't enter the race. Let me put it this way. The first draft is supposed to be rough. The first video is supposed to be awkward. The first product, the first pitch, the first podcast, it's supposed to be clunky. But you know what? You learn, you adjust, you grow. That's how champions are made. Not by waiting for the perfect shot, but by taking the shot, missing, and learning how to aim better the next time. So stop waiting, stop over-polishing, stop trying to impress everyone, and start impacting someone. Because when you get things done, even if they're messy, you build something far more powerful than perfection ever will. Progress. Progress is the result of completion. Completion builds confidence. And confidence, that's the fuel that makes you unstoppable. So here's your challenge. Today, finish something. Don't aim for perfect. Aim for done. Then get better. Then do it again, and again, and again. Because done beats perfect. Every single time. Start ugly. But start. Let me tell you something that'll set you free. You don't need a fancy beginning. You just need a beginning. That's it. Most people are waiting for the right tools, waiting for the right lighting, waiting for the confidence, the approval, the perfect timing, the polished plan. But the truth, the winners of life start ugly, and they're not afraid of it. They embrace it because they understand something powerful. Starting ugly is better than never starting at all. See, people get stuck because they want their first attempt to look like someone else's 10th year. They want to launch with excellence before they've even earned experience. But excellence is the reward, not the requirement. It comes after you start, not before. Let me give it to you straight. Your first podcast will be awkward. Your first video might be clumsy. Your first speech could be filled with uhs and ums. And that's okay, because you're not building a reputation. You're building resilience. You're building courage. You're building experience. And experience doesn't come from thinking. It comes from doing. Let me tell you how I started. I wasn't smooth. I wasn't polished. My first few talks were nothing to brag about. But I showed up. I stumbled. I studied. And I got better. Not because I waited, but because I began. Now here's the question. Are you willing to look foolish? Just long enough to become excellent? Are you willing to be bad at something? So one day you can be great at it. Because if you're waiting for confidence before you begin, you'll wait forever. Confidence is earned through repetition. You build belief by getting in the ring, not by watching from the sidelines. Here's something worth writing down. Ugly action beats beautiful hesitation. Every single time. Because ugly action teaches you. It gives you data. It gives you insight. It gives you feedback. You can improve a rough draft. You can refine a raw idea. But you can't do a thing with what you never start. So stop editing your dream before it exists. Stop rehearsing your message in your mind 1,000 times and never delivering it. Get messy. Get in the game. Get on the stage, behind the mic, in front of the camera. Whatever your arena is, step into it. And remember this, every master was once a beginner who was willing to look silly. Every success story starts with a moment of bold, imperfect action. Your ugly start might be the seed of something incredible, but you'll never know if you don't plant it. So today, not tomorrow, not next week, today make the decision. Start ugly, but start. Track the effort, not just the outcome. Let me ask you a question. What if you're winning, but you can't see it yet? What if your breakthrough is already in motion, but you stop because you didn't get the outcome fast enough? Let me tell you something I learned early in life, and I hope you write this one down. Results take time, but effort shows up today. See, we've been conditioned to chase the outcome. We want the sale, the number on the scale, the views, the likes, the applause. We want the finish line before we've taken the steps. But here's the truth. The outcome is a byproduct. The effort is the cause. And if you don't respect the cause, you'll never last long enough to enjoy the result. That's why I tell people, track the effort, count the reps, celebrate the discipline, because that's what builds the muscle. Let me give you an example. Let's say you decide to get in shape. Day 1, you show up to the gym, you sweat, you push, you stretch yourself. Then you go home and look in the mirror, and what do you see? Nothing, no change. Still the same waistline, the same reflection. Now here's where most people quit, because the result didn't show up fast enough. But they're missing the point. The win wasn't in the mirror, the win was in the decision. The win was in the discipline. The win was in showing up when it would have been easier to stay on the couch. And if you show up again tomorrow, that's progress. Again the next day, that's momentum. Keep going, that's transformation. But only if you understand that the effort is what matters most. especially early on. You've got to trust the law of sowing and reaping. You plant, you water, you wait. You don't dig up the seed every day and say, "Why aren't you a tree yet?" That's foolish. But that's how most people treat their goals. You don't get fruit without roots, and roots grow underground, unseen, uncelebrated, unnoticed, but they are the foundation of everything. So here's what I recommend. Build a system that rewards your effort. Track how often you write. Track how many calls you make. Track the hours you invest, the promises you keep, the actions you take. Because those are the numbers that matter long before the money shows up, long before the results start rolling in. You see, when you measure effort, you build integrity, you build consistency, you build a lifestyle of personal accountability. And when you start living by that standard, success becomes predictable. Not overnight, but over time. So don't get discouraged if the scoreboard isn't showing your victory yet. Keep logging your hours, keep punching the clock, keep stacking the work, because effort never lies. You either did the reps, or you didn't. You either made the call, or you didn't. You either followed through, or you didn't. And let me remind you of something powerful. When you track the effort, you'll start to see progress long before anyone else does. So today, stop obsessing over outcomes. Shift your focus. Ask yourself, did I do the work? Did I keep my word? Did I show up, even when I didn't feel like it? If the answer is yes, you're already winning. The rest, that's just a matter of time. Comparison is a thief. Focus on your lane. Let me start with this. If you're always looking at someone else's path, you're bound to trip on your own. One of the great thieves of joy, motivation, and progress is this little thing called comparison. Now, comparison looks innocent at first. You scroll through someone's highlight reel, and suddenly your daily effort doesn't feel like enough. You see their big win, their polished image, their perfect presentation, and you start to shrink. You start to question your pace. You start to doubt your process. You start to despise your progress. But let me tell you something I've learned over the years. The only lane that matters is yours. The only scoreboard that counts is your own. See, comparison has one job: to make you feel behind, to convince you that where you are is not enough, that what you're doing is too slow, that who you are is somehow less than. And here's the danger. Once you start believing that, you stop building, you stop showing up, you stop planting, you stop pushing. Why? Because you're chasing someone else's definition of success instead of creating your own. But here's the truth, plain and simple. Your journey is not supposed to look like theirs. You have a different background, a different starting line, a different purpose, a different set of tools. So why would you measure yourself using their ruler? Let me remind you of something powerful. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. That's the real test. Are you growing? Are you learning? Are you getting a little better every day? Because if you are, you're winning. Even if no one's clapping yet, even if no one's watching, even if your journey feels quiet, stay in your lane, because your lane is where your lessons are. Your lane is where your growth is. Your lane is where your results are hiding, waiting to be uncovered. And the truth is, most of what you see from others is just the surface. You see the fruit, but not the root. You see the success, but not the sacrifice. You see the results, but not the nights they doubted everything and kept going anyway. So what do? We stop watching and start working. We stop comparing and start committing. We stop questioning our process and start trusting our path. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the loudest. You don't have to be the biggest, the smartest, or the best. You just have to be faithful to your lane. Because if you keep watering your grass, it will grow. If you keep showing up, the results will come. And when they do, you'll realize something. You didn't need to match anyone. You just needed to become yourself, fully. So today, refocus. Eyes off their path. Eyes on your purpose. Eyes on your progress. Because comparison is a thief, but ownership is power. Mistakes are the mark of a mover. Let me begin with a truth that may surprise you. The person who never makes a mistake probably isn't doing much. You see, people who sit still rarely mess up, but they rarely move forward, either. Mistakes, my friend, are not proof that you're failing. They're proof that you're moving, that you're taking action, that you've stepped into the arena, while others are still sitting in the crowd. Now sure, mistakes don't feel good. They sting. They bruise the ego. Sometimes they cost money. Sometimes they cost time. But you know what costs more? Standing still. Standing still because you're afraid of looking foolish. Standing still because you want every step to be perfect. Standing still because you're trying to build a flawless life on paper instead of a meaningful one in the real world. Listen, progress is messy. Growth is uncomfortable. And movement means missteps. But here's what most people don't realize. Mistakes are not the end. They're the teacher. They're the feedback. They're the course correction. Make a mistake. Good. Now you've got something to work with. You can adjust. You can pivot. You can refine. You can improve. The only people who never improve are the ones who never try. See, I've made plenty of mistakes. In business, in relationships, on stage, mistakes in judgment, mistakes in timing, mistakes in trust. But I'll tell you what, those mistakes didn't stop me. They shaped me. Every mistake came with a lesson. Every lesson came with wisdom. And that wisdom, that's what made me valuable. You don't get wisdom from the sidelines. You get it from the struggle, from falling down and getting back up. Better, smarter, stronger. Now let me be clear. I'm not saying celebrate failure for failure's sake. No, don't repeat mistakes. Learn from them. Grow through them. Become wiser than you were before. But don't avoid them. Because in avoiding mistakes, you avoid progress. A mover makes mistakes. A doer gets it wrong before they get it right. The person who becomes great at anything, whether it's speaking, leading, selling, or serving, they earn that greatness through trial and error. So here's the mindset shift I want you to make. Mistakes don't mean you're broken. They mean you're brave. They don't mean you're failing. They mean you're trying. They don't mean you should quit. They mean you've started. And the man or woman who is willing to fall and get up again and again and again, that's the person who wins. So don't hide your mistakes. Don't carry shame about them. Don't let them define you. Let them refine you. Because every mistake is a marker on the road of progress. A signpost that says you're on your way. Keep going. So today let's redefine the way you see mistakes. Not as roadblocks, but as building blocks. Not as shame, but as school. Not as failure, but as proof that you're moving. And as long as you're moving, you're still in the game. Refine as you climb. Don't wait to be ready. Let me tell you something that most people miss. Clarity comes after motion, not before it. Too many people are standing at the base of the mountain, looking up, waiting for the perfect moment to begin, waiting to feel confident, waiting for a sign, waiting to be ready. But let me give it to you straight. You get ready on the way up. Growth doesn't come before the climb. It comes from the climb. Now I've met people who've been preparing for years, planning, studying, thinking. They've got journals full of ideas, courses they've never finished, visions they've never launched. You ask them why they haven't started, and they'll say, I'm still figuring it out. I'm not ready yet. But here's the truth. You don't need the full plan. You need the first step. You refine on the road. You learn by doing. You get stronger by lifting the weight, not by staring at it. The top performers, they didn't wait to be experts before they began. They started where they were, with what they had, and they figured it out along the way. The speaker got better by speaking. The writer got better by writing. The leader got better by leading. Through uncertainty, through setbacks, through real-life lessons. And so will you. You don't need a perfect business plan. You need a paying customer. You don't need the right camera. You need to press record. You don't need every answer. You need to ask the next question. That's how growth works. Let me tell you something powerful. Excellence is a process, not a prerequisite. Don't fall into the trap of perfection. Don't wait until every duck is in a row. Start with the mess. Start with the chaos. Start with the shaky hands. Because that's how you build steady ones. You refine as you climb. You improve as you execute. You polish as you produce. Think of it like building a plane while it's flying. Sounds scary, right? But that's what growth feels like. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. It's uncertain, but it's also unforgettable. You won't get everything right at the beginning. You'll make mistakes. You'll miss steps. You'll look back and laugh at how you started. But guess what? That's the point. Because you'll be able to say, look how far I've come. And more importantly, I didn't wait. I moved. So here's your challenge today. Stop asking if you're ready. Start asking what's my next step. Stop waiting for permission. Start building your own path. Take the first swing. Make the first call. Write the first page. Launch the first version. Then improve it. Then strengthen it. Then build on it. Refine as you climb. Because waiting doesn't make you ready. Doing does. Discipline over drama. Show up daily. Let me say something that might sting a little, but it's true. Most people don't need more motivation. They need more discipline. See, motivation is great. It can light a fire, it can move you for a day, maybe a week, but motivation wears off. Discipline stays. Discipline is what shows up after the excitement fades. It's what keeps going when no one's watching. It's what builds greatness, quietly, consistently, without the spotlight. Now here's what I've noticed. A lot of people love drama. They like the emotional high of a new idea, the rush of setting a goal, the buzz of telling the world what they're about to do. But discipline, that's the part no one applauds. No music, no fireworks, no standing ovation. Just you doing the work, day after day, brick by brick, step by step. Now let me ask you something. Do you want to impress people for a moment, or impact your life permanently? Because if you want results, you don't chase drama, you develop discipline. Discipline gets you out of bed when it's easier to sleep in. Discipline gets you to the gym when it's raining outside. Discipline opens the book, makes the call, writes the page, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. See, here's what most people don't understand. Feelings are liars, they fluctuate, they whisper excuses, they trade long-term gain for short-term comfort. But discipline doesn't argue. Discipline says, I made a promise, I'll keep it. Discipline is character. It's self-respect. It's evidence that you're serious. Now don't get me wrong, you don't need to be perfect. You don't have to hit a home run every day, but you do have to show up. Because showing up daily beats showing off occasionally. Let me repeat that. Show up daily, not when it's convenient, not when you feel inspired, but every single day, with focus, with purpose, with commitment. You want to change your life? You don't need a viral moment. You need 90 days of quiet, consistent action. You want to become respected? Forget the performance. Earn it through your routine. You want momentum? Then don't skip days. Even if it's a small action, do something. Write one paragraph. Do one set. Make one call. Because that's what builds the habit. And once the habit takes root, it starts working for you. Discipline builds the foundation. Drama just drains your energy. So if you're tired of stopping and starting, get serious about your structure. Set your schedule. Honor your word. Keep your standards. Because success doesn't come to the emotional. It comes to the disciplined. So today, drop the drama. Forget the perfect conditions. Stop chasing the emotional high. Just decide, I show up. Daily. No matter what, because when you do that, you become unstoppable. Trust the process. It's working. Even if you don't see it. Let me ask you something. Have you ever planted a seed and then stared at the dirt? You watered it. You waited. You hoped. And still, nothing. Day 1, nothing. Day 2, still nothing. Day 5, still just dirt. And then what happens? Most people give up. They say, it's not working. They dig it up. They stop watering. They walk away. Right before the breakthrough. But here's what they don't realize. The process was working the entire time. Just not in ways they could see. That seed was doing exactly what it was supposed to do. Taking root, building a foundation, preparing to grow upward by first growing downward. And life, success, progress, it works the same way. You start building a new habit, and you don't feel different right away. You start making better choices, and the scale doesn't move. You post your content, make your calls, show up consistently, and no one claps yet. And you think, what's the point? But that's where most people fail. Not because it wasn't working, but because they stopped too soon. See, here's a truth you need to hold on to. Invisible progress is still progress. And the work you do in silence will echo in results later. Now, I'm not saying the process is easy. It's not. It tests your patience. It stretches your belief. It challenges your character. But that's exactly why it works. Because the process isn't just building your results. It's building you. It's building your strength, your mindset, your capacity, your integrity. And let me tell you something. When the results finally show up, you'll be ready for them. Because you've already done the hard part. Becoming the kind of person who doesn't quit. Look, the harvest never comes in the same season as the planting. There's a gap between sowing and reaping. And in that gap, you've got to decide, will I trust the work? Will I trust the effort? Will I trust the process? Even if I don't see the reward yet. Because if you only trust when results are visible, you're not committed. You're just chasing validation. But if you trust the process, when it's quiet, when it's hard, when it feels like nothing's happening, that's when you become powerful. Because you've stopped needing evidence. You've started acting on faith. You've begun to understand that the roots you're growing today will carry the fruit of your future. So here's what I want you to do. Keep showing up, even when it's invisible. Keep sowing, even when no one is watching. Keep watering, even when the ground looks dry. Because something is happening, something is shifting, and if you don't stop, you will see it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day the fruit will come, and it will come fast, and everyone else will say, "Wow, where did that come from?" And you'll smile, because you'll know. It didn't come out of nowhere. It came from the process you trusted when no one else could see it. Progress builds identity. You become what you do. Let me give you one of the most powerful lessons I've ever learned. You don't get what you want. You get what you consistently do. Most people think identity is something you find, but I'm here to tell you, identity is something you build. One choice at a time, one action at a time, one brick of discipline laid every single day. See, progress isn't just about reaching a goal. It's about reinforcing a belief. Every time you take action, you cast a vote, not just for the result, but for the kind of person you believe you are becoming. When you show up early, you're not just on time, you're becoming a disciplined person. When you finish what you start, you're not just checking a box, you're becoming a committed person. When you do the hard thing, even when it's uncomfortable, you're becoming stronger, more capable, more resilient. That's how it works. The goal isn't just to change your schedule, it's to change your standard. Because once your standard rises, your identity rises with it. And once your identity rises, your results become automatic. Let me give you an example. You say, "I'm going to run 3 times this week." That's a good goal, but the real win isn't the distance. The real win is when you finish that 3rd run and say, "I'm the kind of person who follows through." That's identity. That's power. That's momentum that can't be bought, only earned. See, the danger in chasing perfection is that it delays identity. You wait until you hit the milestone before you believe you're worthy. But progress says, I don't have to be there yet. I just have to be on the path. And if I'm on the path, if I'm doing the work, if I'm stacking the reps, then I am the person I want to become. Even if I'm not there yet. You want to be a writer, write. Even if it's not perfect, even if no one reads it, because each time you write, you reinforce. This is who I am. You want to be confident. Take action. Confidence isn't a trait. It's a byproduct of keeping promises to yourself. You want to be respected. Do what you say you'll do, even when it's hard, even when no one's watching, because that's the secret. You don't wait to become. You become by doing. And the more you do, the more solid that identity becomes. It starts to feel normal to eat well. It starts to feel automatic to read every day. It starts to feel unnatural to break your word. Why? Because your identity has shifted. You've redefined what's like you, and what's not like you. And let me tell you, when the internal shifts, the external has no choice but to follow. So stop asking, "Am I there yet?" and start declaring, "This is who I am."